Yeah. It's like 8 something in the morning. I'm just now getting off. I really can't even complain because I got all the help that I needed last night. And I need to start delegating more to the aides, I feel like. But that's another discussion. I got the help that I needed. My patients stayed safe and alive throughout the night. I did end up having 6 patients towards the end of the night, and I think that kind of, because my new admit, I had attempted an IV on this person twice, and another person had to come and attempt an IV 3 times. We ended up having to do the Doppler to get the IV, and that's cool, got that done. Then I had a CWA patient. Yeah, these CWAs, basically if they're like, they have substance abuse, well, alcohol abuse, and you assess them to, you know, from the withdrawals from the alcohol, which is so freaking real, y'all. Alcohol withdrawals is real. Like, I feel like anything that got you like that, that's why I don't drink. That's why I don't drink. I didn't do a video about it. I haven't drank in over a year. That's why I don't drink. Because like that, to me, like tremors and hallucinations and nausea, agitation, like visual disturbances and all of that, like, whoo, you can straight become unalive if you have alcohol withdrawals and you're not being treated, like you're not medically being treated for it. Like it can get real fast. And I learned that last night. Now nothing happened to my patient, but because the patient was so chill and laid back, so I was like, okay, still doing my assessment, but that was so chill. But next time I know to like really be on them. Like, let me really be on you. But like tremors and stuff like that, you'd be like, really? From drinking some alcohol? No, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. But I know everybody has their own things when it comes to, you know, substance abuse and things like that. But what I was going to say is, I feel like I'm starting to get a lot more patients who are in the hospital and they had some type of substance abuse. And a lot of my patients also, I'm getting more homeless patients coming in. And of course, I think that has to do with the weather changing too, with it being, you know, going into late fall. It's getting cold outside. Like, it's 40 degrees outside right now. And yeah, I think that that's contributing to having more people come in off the streets, which is sad because the patients are not in good, they just don't be in good shape, man. They don't be in good shape when they come from off the streets. And then it's just like you trying to get them back into society, and sometimes they stay in the hospital for a minute because they don't have placement. That's why I think social workers are the bomb, because they really work to get these patients something that nurses can't really give. Like, we can only treat you medically, but as far as everything else that's going on with you, that's a social worker. And a lot of times that's really hard to navigate, getting somewhere a place for people to stay. And because a lot of times the reason people have health issues is because of the more social, economic issues that lead to health issues. They, you know, they can't afford their medications, or they're not taking their medications, or they don't have a place to stay, they don't have that consistency and things like that. And it's usually contributing to the social economic issues. And so shout out to the social workers out there. Do your job, you are greatly appreciated. But yeah, it was a good night. I feel like it's always a good night as long as my patients was safe and I was able to, I myself was physically able to make it through the night. Like, I made it physically. I ain't fall asleep. I ain't, you know, I ain't pass out nowhere. And my patients were safe. I was able to take care of my patients. So I feel good about that. One of my patients that I was taking care of yesterday on a different floor, they had called a rapid response to their room twice. I'm like, they're like, oh my God, that was my patient last night. What's going on with my patient? But they're no longer my patient, so I gotta move on. But I did learn some things yeah. But I'm so grateful to have help. Like, it's different to be drowning and feel like it's a lot going on and you are the only nurse and it's just on you to take care of all these people, whatever going on, like it's on you. Versus, yes, it could be a lot going on, but there's like 5 other nurses on a unit. And if anything else happened, there's other nurses that can come help you, rapid response, like there's so much more help. The only thing I would say is like the techs in the hospital, they don't really do like the techs in nursing homes. They don't, I don't know, because sometimes the techs in nursing homes, you be like, child, where y'all at? But they be having so many patients. And I think it's probably the same in the hospital too. Like, hold on. It's probably the same in the hospital. Oh, I didn't ask you to turn all the way up. It's probably the same in the hospital too. Like, they just have a nice caseload of patients. But sometimes I would just be like, I should probably just ask the aide to do it. But like this morning, a patient had an issue and they ended up having to get their linen changed, and it would literally happen right at the change of shift, like right as me and the nurse were coming in to do report, it happened. And so technically, I mean, like, who is that on? Is that on the day shift nurse, on the night shift nurse? I kind of feel like both of us could have just got it done, but she said, oh, we'll get to it. But she had to still get report. I had to still get report, and I was still working because I ended up having a lot that I had to do right at the end of the shift. Like, you know, the blood, like your patient's results, their lab results come in like at 4:30 in the morning. So I was reviewing them like around 5:30, and I started getting orders. Then my patient was throwing up, so I was like trying to take care of that. And then their freaking catheter had came off, like the condom catheter had came off. So I'm trying to do the condom catheter, clean the patient, change their linen, give them something for the nausea. I still have to give them PO medications, and I still have to hang IVs. And then come to find out, the patient ended up needing to get another IV because the medication that we were hanging was not compatible with the other medications they were getting. So it was just like, it was a lot. And y'all, this was the end of the shift, like literally the end of the shift. So I was like, oh hell. I should have just like called and said like, hey, can you help me with them? But I didn't. I just went ahead and got it done. And then, but no, so all of that happened. And then when it was time to do a report on the other patient, the patient, like I said, ended up having issues and had to change their linen in their bed. And the other nurse, she was still getting report. I still had to get report. And like I said, I still had to work to do too. And it was already like 7:20. And I was like, I felt kind of bad. The patient was waiting. And so I was like, let me just go ahead and just do it. And I'll just, because the nurse that I was trying to give reports to was getting a report from somebody else. So I was like, let me just go ahead and get things started. And then at one point I was like, look, the tech gonna have to just come in here and do this. Like, I got all the linen, I cleaned up, you know, what I could. And, you know, I told her, I just got what I could for the patient. And I was like, okay, I told the other nurse, like, can you just have them make the bed and go from there? Because I was like trying to clean up too, because they had made a, you know, a little bit of mess in the bathroom. So I was just trying to clean up for them and chart their urine and everything. So I was like, yeah. And I still had to give reports to 2 other nurses. So I was like, can they should just make the bed? Like, and then sometimes I'd be thinking like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to ask for help because I'm like, this is just so small. But all of that stuff adds up. And that's why I didn't end up leaving work until an hour after, you know. Technically, we were supposed to clock out at 7:30. I left like at 8. So it wasn't too bad. 30 minutes past my time. But I just didn't want the patient to wait for too long. So I was like, let me just try to do something. So I went in there, gave them a gown, and cleaned up the bathroom, and emptied out their urine hat, and, you know, got all that together. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have the tech come and go ahead and make your bed. Because the patient was like, I still need to use the bathroom, you know. But the patient was ambulatory, so it was cool. Which, it was a lot. I'm tired. And I be feeling bad, too, because my husband be with the girls. When I work like this, my husband is with the girls on his days off, with them all day long, because I work nights. So he's with them throughout the day. He got with them throughout the night. And then the next day, he's with them throughout the day, with them throughout the night. And then today he has to go to work, and he's going to be with them throughout the whole morning until he goes to work. But, you know, I mean, I guess that's the whole point of having a partner, right? Is that y'all just make that ish work. Because when he's at work, I'm with the girls all week, you know, because I'm off throughout the week. So, but they're in school. So, when they get out, that's when I'm with them. But yeah, that's that, y'all. I feel blessed that my patients were safe. Like, thank you, God, for keeping my patients safe throughout the night. For giving me the strength to do what I had to do to take care of them. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And anything that I ain't do right, child, just let me know. Show me my ways. But no, it was cool. I hung IVIG. That was my first time doing that. And I learned something. Like, when you do the IVIG, you have to check their vital signs, like, every time. Like, you have to increase the IVIG is immunoglobulin, which is an antibody that a person might need if they have like a disease that's like autoimmune. So their body is basically, what do you call it? I don't want to say destroying itself, but the body is fighting off its own cells. So the patient had an autoimmune disorder, and so they had to get IVIG. And with that, you can't like just give it super fast. Eventually you will. Like, you have like 5, I think it was 4 different times you had to change it. So like, there's like a rate. Like, the first rate was like 24 mLs per hour, and you're only supposed to administer like 12 mLs 24 mLs per 30 minutes, and you're supposed to only administer 12 mLs or something like that. So every 30 minutes, you have to increase how fast and how much of the medication that you're giving. And every time that you change the rate that you're giving it, you have to check their vital signs. So I had to check the vital signs before I gave it. Then I gave it at the certain dose for 30 minutes, check the vital signs again, gave it a certain dose for 30 minutes, vital signs again, and I kept doing that. And then once the patient, like that 5th time, you're able to just run the IG, just run it without having to, you know, check them over and over, and without having to increase the rate. Like, you could just increase the rate and just give it, like, really open, like, really fast. I hope that makes sense to somebody, child. I'm sorry. I've been up for 13 hours at this job. I'm tired. I really am. I need some water. And it's raining. Talking to y'all is keeping me awake. So, but yeah, so that was cool. I was able to do that, and the patient was really cool. They said they had got it done before, so, but that's something that I did that was different. I'm so glad that I worked nights, because I was talking to the patient. It was just like, you like nights? I was like, yeah. They were like, wow. I was like, because you're able to actually do your job. Like, if I had to do vital signs every 30 minutes and increase the rate on somebody's IV every 30 minutes for like an hour, that would be a lot to do on day shift. Because it wasn't a horrible amount to do on night shift, but like, since I knew I had to do that, I went ahead and did that person first. Gave somebody their pills, did my assessment, came back, and then, you know, increased the rate. Gave somebody else some pills, did my assessment, came back. So I was able to do a little bit of work in between. But there was one point where, like, I kind of got caught up in the time, and it kind of overlapped a little bit. But, you know, it stopped. Like, the IV is going to stop after 30 minutes. So it's not like you have to come in there and stop the IV. Like, you can, you know, of course, program it to stop after 30 minutes. So that's cool. But yeah, whew, yeah, I'm sorry. That took me out. So now I know when it comes to my labs, like, I need to check my labs basically like at 4:30. I need to be checking my labs like right at 4:30, going through all my labs, seeing what's going on with everybody, and just getting on top of getting any orders I needed. Because I ended up having to hang potassium and magnesium, and like I said, we had to start another IV. The charge nurse started the IV for me because I was like, I'm tired. Like, I'm just like, oh, good job. Because I already tried to do somebody else's IV and I couldn't get it. I was able to get it, but I couldn't advance it because I guess I had hit a valve. And then, like I said, another nurse came and she was like, I'm starting to hit valves too. So she's certified on the Doppler. So she was able to get in. If y'all don't know what the Doppler is, it's just basically ultrasound, I should say, or Doppler. I don't even know what the heck. Is it the ultrasound? Doppler. It's similar, but basically it's the ultrasound. Yeah, it's ultrasound. Oh my God, it's time to go to sleep. But basically they are looking for your veins, and they're just looking to see what's open, make sure there's no valves, make sure it's patent. And then that way they know how to advance. They know exactly where to give you your IV at. It's a lot more accurate than just basically being like, okay, I feel an IV, let me try to put it in there. So yeah, she's certified on it, which is so dope. Like, I would love to learn vascular access. If you a nurse, and if you could just get them IVs right, every nurse is like, I want to make sure my IVs is on point, because you have to do a lot of IVs, especially at MedSurg. Like, they don't talk about that enough. MedSurg is super IV heavy, like hella IV heavy. Do people still say hella? I'm so St. Louis. Anyway, so country, child. Even though St. Louis ain't country, it is country. It's my husband calling me. He like, honey baby child, it's 8:30. Where you at? Oh my gosh. But yeah, MedSurg is heavy. Like, I was on a tele floor the night before that, and like none of my patients was getting IV. Like, they had an IV. Some of them. One patient didn't have an IV, but I didn't get any admissions. I had 4 patients. None of my patients was getting IVs. None of my patients was getting IVs. Then this shift, two of my patients had to actually get IVs, like get started on IVs. And out of the 6 patients that I ended up having, because first I had 5, then I got an admit like around 2 in the morning. And I ended up having to give, I had 1, 2, who am I forgetting? 3, the IVIG, and 4. I had 4 out of 6 patients getting IV fluids. So that's a lot. I had to do antibiotics. I told y'all the IVIG, which was, you know, doing that for a whole 2 hours, or however long I had to do it. Yeah, it was like 2 hours. And then, no, 3 hours. Yeah, because it's every 30 minutes. Maybe like 3.5 hours of doing that. Yeah, and then another patient I had one patient that I had to give IV fluids to twice, or what do you call it? Antibiotics to twice. And then, you know, you got meds that you give through the IV, some meds. And I was giving pain meds every 2 hours to one of my patients, which was cool because they was able to, hey, I don't mind giving pain meds every 2 hours, because if they able to get it and it's helping them and they can sleep, that's all I want. On night shift, I just want my patients to be able to rest, and I want to be able to, you know, chart and do things like that. But rest and stay alive, Chad. Don't rest too much. Don't get too relaxed. Don't get too relaxed. But I'm gonna let y'all go because I gotta go look at this blemish. Oh my gosh. But I love you. I'm about to go. I'm tired. I'm sorry, y'all. It's time to go.